Raja Yoga.
Yeah. So, Mohan Sai, Raja Yoga. Another phrase, so popularized by Swami Vivekananda, Raja Yoga. So he talked about Jnana Yoga and then Karma Yoga, I think, Raja Yoga, and
he did Bhakti also.
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. Correct.
Yeah.
Bhakti Yoga. Correct.
4 parts.
So this is the way it is divided. So for the intellectual people, you have Jnana Yoga. Why? Because Jnana means understanding. You have to use your intellect. Then for the extroverted people, the people who are active, for them there is Raja Yoga. Okay? And Karma Yoga. Raja Yoga means more extroverted, more dynamic, with the ability to use the intellect, Raja Yoga. Then still I'm more seva oriented and I want to give more. For such a person, Karma Yoga. And then for those who are very devoted, very religious, you have what is called Bhakti Yoga. This was the way he had mentioned. This was the intention behind Swamiji. Swamiji's words of these 4 yogas. So he presented it that way. It was a genius, because he wanted to. He was not getting into the details of moksha, right? Because what is not the purpose of what he said. And so he wanted to say, hey, this is Sanatana Dharma for us. And so it appeals to everybody. All kinds of people it appeals. The person who says, I want to study, for that person, Jnana Yoga. Person who says, I am good at doing things, Karma Yoga. Raja Yoga, I can lead, I can do, I can even teach Raja Yoga. I can inspire others. And for that person, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. So this was the idea behind Swami Vivekananda. His statement about his 4 yogas. And so here in Bhagavad Gita, you don't see the mention of distinct 4 yogas. Because Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra. So that is how the entire content of the Bhagavad Gita is divided into, and like Krishna says here also. And Raja Yoga can also mean Jnana Yoga in a different context. So we should say Raja Yoga means something very different from Jnana Yoga. In some context, Raja Yoga means what? Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Krishna is going to say. Raja Vidya, the king of all. What? King of all, what do you say? All knowledges, all fields of knowledge is this knowledge. King. That is what you have to go after. So it's called Raja Vidya. So sometimes Raja Yoga is meant, by which it's meant, Jnana Yoga is meant by that. Okay. So it depends on context. So we need to look more into what Swami Vivekananda ji meant by Raja Yoga. I'm sure one can study that. But that is the short answer to your question, Mohan Sai. Good. So we will continue in the next class. And
Can I ask you a question, Jay Kumar?
I think Mahesh ji has also raised his hand.
okay. Yeah. So Haraprasad, then Mahesh.
Okay. The question is, you think one knows what is his swadharma is, and he does his best to carry out his swadharma, and he fails miserably because probably the Ishvara Kataksham was not there, or that was what Ishvara Prasada was. But anyway, the person fails badly in his so-called Swadharma. He thinks he has done his karma to achieve that Swadharma, but it didn't work out. So what does it show? What does it reflect? Do you
So,
follow my question?
yeah, so it didn't work out when you say, can you give an example of that Swadharma that didn't work out? Yeah, Harprasad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Call from anonymous.
The phone is ringing. I don't want to talk.
Yeah, okay, right. So let's discuss that. So, Swadharma. So Swadharma can be both. So one of the examples of Swadharma is one does the dharma in a Swadharma of a Vedic person living in a Vedic society. Let's talk about that. So in India, especially, so even though the hold of the Vedas is, we have come away from the definitions of Swadharma as prescribed by the Vedas. Still, there are people who live that. And so let's talk about this ashrama dharma. So the Swadharma of a parent is to earn a living and take care of the children. Okay, this is the Swadharma. This is basic. Swadharma is basic. What is the minimum one has to do? And Vaidika means even more. One has to do Nitya Naimittika Karma. So daily Vedic rituals have to be done. And Naimittika Vedic rituals, periodic, Amavasya, etc. rituals have to be done. So this is a Vedic. So there are some Vedic portions. There are some portions which define how one leads a life on a daily basis. Profession, all this is involved. So the fact that one does these things with the attitude of Karma Yoga, okay, one does one's Swadharma itself. One reading says, when I do my Swadharma, I'm automatically enjoying the attitude of Karma Yoga. Okay. Another way to look at is when I do my Swadharma with the attitude of Karma Yoga, which is Ishwararpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. I do it as an offering to Ishvara and I receive whatever comes as Prasada. Karma Yoga is complete. Now, nowhere here it is said you must get something. The results must be of a particular type. The results must be what you expect them to be. The results must be what others expect it to be. No such criteria is given. This Karma Yoga itself, that I enjoy the attitude of Karma Yoga itself is its result. Itself is the result of my actions. Antakarana Shuddhi is the result of my actions. Correct? Therefore, he will say later on in the next shloka, Pratyavayona Vidyate. He will answer your question. Pratyavayona Vidyate. There is no such thing as failure in Karma Yoga. Okay? Even though from a worldly perspective, I did what I did, but I really did not succeed. Correct? I did not succeed. Or I have to do it again. All these things will come. Success, failure is always there and you assess your results. But in Karma Yoga, there is no success or failure. Okay. So one has to do what is to be done and be dharmic. So dharma implies being dharmic. There is no cutting corners. And Swadharma implies what I do based on my ashrama dharma and based on my varna dharma. So if varna is not there in society, namely this Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, all these distinctions are not there as much as it was before, then you do what you feel that you are built to do, or take the advice of somebody else. I am built to run a business. That's where my mind takes me. Then people start a business. That person starts a business, he or she. So you do that. That's how all of us lead our lives these days. But those days it was not like that. Those days, a Brahmana's family, the children would automatically learn the Vedas and would automatically study the Shastram and teach the Shastra. And the children of a Kshatriya will automatically serve the country, serve the society. But then that is starting point automatic. Then later on the person's inclinations will take over. And then that person can study the Shastram, of course, can do whatever they want, can run a business, so they can do whatever. So that is called karma-based division versus guna-based division. All these things used to be there before, but now it's all guna-based, mostly guna-based. I do what I like to do. This is why we tell our parents that you never force your children to like a particular subject. This is constant. I got a call just 2 days ago. The parent wanted to talk to me about their daughter's, what should she do, what stream she should take, etc. After some discussion, I asked him to tell his daughter to talk to me, because I felt as though that person was pushing the daughter to do a certain thing. I felt like that. So I wanted to hear from the daughter also. What do you think, Amma? What do you feel? Why do you want to do something? Why do you want to do this or that? I wanted to talk to her. Because it's so important. That desire is coming out. And it's important for the parent to let the child do what it loves to do. Then the life will be fulfilling. The other trajectory may be monetarily rewarding, but the child is constantly going to say, I don't like to do this. I don't like to get up in the morning to do this. I don't like to get up in the morning to do this. Look at that. Is that the life the child wants, or the child is happy doing? As an adult, happy doing what they want to do. So very important. These things are important. So once you're happy doing what you are doing, which means Swadharma, then what? Then that person is not concerned so much about success and failure. Correct? So much about result. Because you love what you're doing. An artist is drawing. Is that artist worried about how good the artwork is? Yeah, sure. Artwork should be good, puts all the effort. But whether this sells for 10,000 rupees or 1 million rupees or what, he's not so concerned. Why? Because it's a labor of love. Labor of love, nobody can say success or failure. So Karma Yoga means, let's use a different phrase. It should be your Swadharma. It should be, you must love to do it. Or if I don't love to do it, then you learn to love to do it. That also is there. It's also part of Karma Yoga. So a short answer to your question, Harprasad, is there is no such thing as failure. When Karma Yoga is introduced, there is no such thing as failure. We'll talk more about it further also. And Siddhi Siddhyo Samo Bhutva, and then Pratyavayo na Vidyate. Next sloka itself, I think, comes. So, yeah, na iha abhikrama nashaha nasti. That is verse number 40. So we'll dwell a little more on that.
Okay.
In that sloka also.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mahesh, go ahead.
My question is related to last class. In slokas 34, 35, and 36, Krishna says that if you run away or walk away from this battle, you'll get a kirti and people will talk ill of you, and therefore you should fight. Earlier he said it is your dharma to fight because you are a Kshatriya. And later on he said this is because you get a kirti. So my question is, I don't know, maybe it's valid for Arjuna, but a common person, say like me, I don't do everything thinking what people will say 20 years from now. I don't see what I do. I still do things which are dharmic, but I have no control over what people will say years from now or even months from now.
Yeah. So Krishna is covering various viewpoints. Krishna need not have said it. And so he is basically invoking the other argument. Because Arjuna being a leader, not just an ordinary Kshatriya, not just a soldier who is doing his or her duty, because his actions will have serious repercussions. And just in case you don't know, you're a leader, and so this is what is expected of you. Otherwise, people will say all these things. Don't think if you leave, people will appreciate you. So these arguments he's using. So he's completing. It's not a central argument. It's not a central argument. So he's just covering various viewpoints for Arjuna. So sometimes that argument is used to help a person see one's own beauty. One's own beauty. It's not that you must be focused on what other people think of you, but here there are damaging consequences. And so Krishna must have chosen to do that. Those are all worldly arguments. And so he does that. Yeah, that's an observation we all have. And so Shankara says, Natu tatparyena, he uses the word. Shankara says, Krishna said this, but that is not the ultimate purport of what Krishna is trying to say. Natu tatparyena, he says that. So trying to inspire Arjuna a little bit, and in case he's confused about what his actual duty is, then maybe these arguments can help him. Good.
Yeah, because even in Arjuna's case, there could be people who will say, look at this guy, he was greedy for the kingdom, so he killed his own kings. That also people could say.
Yes. Could say, yeah. So dharma. So yeah, dharma is like that. There is always going to be people who will say the opposite of what dharma is and claim that must be his dharma. It will always be there. That cannot be stopped. It cannot be stopped. So that's why it's crucial to kind of the Swadharma. That's why it's so important. Swadharma defines one's dharma. Other people cannot decide our dharma. One has to decide one's dharma. Otherwise the world will decide what I should do.
Yeah.
And so, but here it is, Krishna added that argument. It's not the most important argument Krishna is making. Yeah, Prasad, go ahead.
Okay. Before asking my question, I think, what you said just now, dharma is because it's relative. So to me, it is my dharma. Is that right? Relative, right? So just clarification on that. Yeah. So my question is on Sankhya. Now, the Sankhya I think in the non-dual nature, which I understand now, is Brahman, which is nature of the reality of the Atman. Now, there is Sankhya used in the duality also. The in Shad Darshan, Sankhya Darshan, wherein it's a total treatise, philosophical treatise in a different manner. So my question is on the use of the word Sankhya. Shall I take it as independently, which is obviously that is duality and this is non-dual in nature? Or is there, we can say that is a different form of Sankhya? So how can we understand that?
Yeah, so there is something called Shad Darshana. So let's, for some of you who have not heard these words, Shad Darshana. So there are 6, they say, schools of thought. So Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga. So like this, there are some 6 so-called philosophies, sometimes they say. And one of those is Vedanta, and the other one is Sankhya. Sankhya was propounded by Kapila Muni, Kapila Sankhya. And so that Sankhya is different. So, no Ishvara, Nirishvaravadi. So, no Ishvara. Then there is something called Pradhana. They introduce something called Pradhana, which is Satyam. And then for them, Veda is not the most important pramanam. For them, Tarka is a pramanam. Tarka means logic. Logic is the main pramanam for them. So even all this Anumana, Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shabda pramanam is also not main. So it's a little different. Very different. And so yeah, that's a different Sankhya. And here, what Krishna is talking about is Sankhya as in knowledge of art. So it's good that he brought it out so that one should know. Somewhere you may see Sankhya, and that may refer to Kapila's Sankhya.
Okay.
Like Patanjali's yoga,
Yeah.
like Vashishta's Darshana. So like this, there are many, 6. So Sankhya, Kapila's Sankhya is one.
I have another question, Vijay Kumarji. This is on Antakarana. So Antakarana, obviously, it represents the subtle body. Now, in colloquially, it has been said like to the heart, it refers to the heart. So is that correct? I'm talking about colloquially only. In real meaning, it is subtle body. Yeah.
So if you look at generally, I have not seen Antakarana being referred to the heart. I have not seen, because in Vedanta, Karana means instrument, and sometimes the heart is referred to as an instrument where Ahankara resides. Okay, also a seat of action, like that you hear. You know why? Because when you ask who did it, then he said, I did it. I did it. No? They didn't say I did it. I did it doesn't come here. I did it comes here only, right? So the heart is often used as a seat of Ahankara. But really speaking, Ahankara is out here. And Karanam, instrument, Antakaranam, inner instrument. An inner instrument which, we say the mind should be pure. So this person is a pure person, means what? It's not that the heart is pumping pure blood, it's not like that. So the mind is dharmic. That is the idea. So Antakaranam, I've seen Antakaranam referring only to the mind. Yeah.
Maybe because it is heart means like it is not in your control, whereas mind, ear, or other karmendriya, it's all in your control. Whereas heart, it pumps. You cannot say, okay, let us go slow or let us go faster.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel like saying, and
Yeah.
but it doesn't right. So Hridaya. So last time we'll use the word Hridaya and referring to Antakarana. Okay. Mano Hridi also, you say. Good. So,
So
we will,
Hrudayam refers to the mind in that case?
yeah, in some context, Hridaya refers
Yeah.
to the mind.
So in a Pratasmarami Hrudayam, it is the mind then.
Yeah, it's the mind. Pratasmarami Hridi samspuradatma tattva.
Yeah. Okay.
Smarami, because Smarami, I remember in the morning.
Yeah.
I remember in my heart, it doesn't sound right. I remember. I recall. I invoke.
Because I think Jaykumar ji, manas is the abode of heart is the abode of manas, right? Like when we are asleep, the manas is resting in your heart. That's what it says in your hridaya. Whereas when you are awake, it goes with the intellect and combines there. So, but the abode where it is there is in your hridaya. When it is resting, it is there. That's why probably it is called hrudi also. When manas, you are referring to the manas component. The way it is explained is it is with buddhi most of the times in awake state, but when you are sleeping or anything, that is the abode. That's why you think of God in your abode of your heart, because that is where the manas is in the resting place when it is not active with the world.
Yeah, I mean, you're a doctor, you know more about the mind.
No, I am talking about as Vedanta speaks. I'm not talking about what my like medicine says as such. But this is like when we read this sloka of Adi Shankaracharya. Which one is this?
Manobuddhyankara.
No, not Mano Buddhi Ahankara. Ratnai Kalpita Masam. In that he says, like, Buddhi is the like with my heart, when he says it is
Shiva Manasa Puja.
Yeah, Shiva Manasa Puja.
Shiva Manasa Puja.
So when he says what is it? I'm not remembering the words now when I try to explain, but that is where it comes, is like, the manas is like, that is the place of abode of the manas when it is Atmatvam Girija Matis Sahacharam Prana Shariram Griham. Puja te Vishayopabhoga Rachna Nidra Samadhisthiti. So when he says Atma Tvam Girija, Atma is Shiva, Girija Matihi. Matihi is like when he means that it's actually the Parvati who is with Shiva in awake state, but in that's how it was explained to me. But when you're resting, this stays in your heart, like that. That's the way it was explained when I read it. So maybe that's why the manaha and hrudaya is combined together.
Yeah. So Hridi, so we don't make a big effort to split the heart and the mind.
Yeah.
We don't make a big effort. Understanding is understanding. It takes place where it normally takes place. And then when the mind is not there, the heart is still functioning. So the heart is, such an important part of the body. And so thoughts are connected to the heart also, right? The most stressful thoughts there are, the heart also responds to that. So it appears as though the heart is the one that's thinking, very, very closely connected. So that there's always a strong connection between the mind and the heart, very strong. That is why you have this. Apparently, mana and hridaya are used synonymously. So that is it is said like that in some shlokas, and even Upanishad uses the word hridi. Of course, Bhagavad Gita, mano hridi niruddhyacha is there. We'll see when it comes to the shloka. But we don't strive to make a big split between the mind and the heart. And sometimes it says the heart is, they use the word heart, but we don't, we understand what it means, and we need not take it literally also. Sometimes we should not take things literally. So Atma is in the heart, suppose somebody says. So that means Atma is not there anywhere else. That is the implication. So So we interpret those shlokas as appropriate in that context. Okay.
The heart
But you
itself
mentioned that there
is,
is a place in your heart where there is like the Chidakasha, where you will be able to find the Brahman, like this Angushta size Brahman, and that is where you concentrate when you do the dhyana. That's what it says. I don't know, is that like just place for meditation, or is it like, I don't know in what context sometimes it's mentioned.
Yeah, in meditation, all these things become even more meaningful because you have to focus on some part of the body. Okay, you have to focus on some part of the body. Suppose I say, focus on your mind in the meditation. Then focus on your legs, focus on your hands, focus on your fingertips. Okay, all this is easy to do. Okay, all that is okay. Focus on your shoulder, easy to do. Focus on your mind means what? I've never seen my mind before. It's not an object sitting there where I can focus on. What is the color of it? What is the shape of the mind? Nothing I know. So how do you focus on the mind? So sometimes Krishna will say, you focus on your heart. Then because heart is an object that I can
Relate.
visualize. Or focus on the Nasikagram Swam, he will say in the 6th chapter. So focus on the tip of the nose. Correct? Tip of the nose. Tip of the nose is you can. So of course he will not say visualize the tip of your nose, because that is not the objective. Keep your eyes in such a way that you are looking at the tip of the nose. Means when the eyes are closed, the eyeballs are somewhat directed towards the tip of the nose. Correct?
Yeah.
So like semi-closed, basically he doesn't want you to sleep by closing your eyes.
Closed or semi-closed, your eyes can be closed and still the eyeballs could be focused towards the tip of the nose. What is the position of your eyeballs when in the closed eyes? That is the question. Eyes
Okay.
can be closed, but the eyeballs can be up there also. Can be up this side also. Can be up this side also. Correct?
Okay.
So there Krishna says Nasikagram Swam. So as though looking at the tip of the nose. Doesn't mean you open your eyes slightly and then look at the tip of the nose.
Okay.
In what Krishna says. There may be other exercises where they actually say keep your eyes slightly open so you can see the tip of the nose. That's different. So we are constantly looking for a part in which you can visualize. Sometimes the heart is a good seat because it's a seat of emotions. They say it is a seat of emotions. Heart is a seat of emotions, right? They don't say mind is a seat of emotions. Heart is a seat of emotions. Look at that. So therefore, might as well use that. When needed, we will use the heart because we are so connected to our heart. Very
Sorry,
integral.
one more question. Another question related to the same thing. Is there a preference whether you meditate on your heart or in between your eyebrows? Is there a preference or anything?
No, there is no preference like that. There's no preference because eventually we will come to chanting. And when you're chanting, your focus is on the chant, not much, in fact, not at all on a part of the body. It's just the initial steps. Whatever we are talking about is initial steps. Until you start chanting, until you begin to see the silence between chants and so forth, which we will see again as we go forward. Yeah, good questions.
From the other context, the heart which we take is Annamaya Kosha. Just like brain, it is still a heart is part of the body, right? I mean, because I can show you the heart, but the subtle thing, which is the subtle body, which is what through reflective consciousness we feel it. You can concentrate on that and meditation and all that. I understand seat of emotions, but from the scientific concept, I can say that I can show you the heart, which is a gross body. So
But I thought the heart that they refer when in meditation is not the physical heart. It's a space like right above your, like, I don't know, a xiphoid process. So I don't know how to define it in common language. Like it is in the middle. It's not the heart that is to the left of in your body, the anatomical position. This
Correct.
space that they say is defined like about some distance above your navel, and then it comes in that. Narayan Suktam, I think. It is a different space. The heart that they talk about is the subtle one. It's not the anatomical heart they're talking about.
Yeah, my question is that only. So I can keep at any part of my body being, body is also conscious from the awareness, which has been actually is borrowed awareness from our chitta, the atma. So I can concentrate in any point of the body where the consciousness is there, the reflective consciousness, right? Is it not?
That's what I was saying. Is it important to do here or here? I guess that is moot point as far as Jay Kumarji said.
Yeah. So different traditions emphasize different ways of focusing the mind. And so it is eventually it's not that critical whether you look at the tip of the nose or whether you focus on the heart or whether you just visualize a devata. Okay, correct? Visualize devata. How will you visualize a devata? Suppose you want to worship on Sri Devi, Lakshmi. Then Lakshmi visualization becomes important. So you're not visualizing Lakshmi on the tip of your nose. Now you're visualizing Lakshmi. In your mind only you're visualizing Lakshmi. You're not thinking Lakshmi is in your heart. You can think, but you have to visualize Lakshmi first. That becomes important. In order to visualize Lakshmi, you have to bring the mind. You have to coax the mind, if I can use that word coax, to calm down, to come back, slowly come back. Now it's like inviting a bird to sit on your shoulder. You have to coax. Yesterday, there is a lady here who goes every morning and evening, and she feeds these peacocks. And peacocks won't come near you; they will run away. And but this lady, she talks to the peacocks, and the peacock will come. There is a couple of peacocks who always come to her around 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30. Always come to her, and then she feeds whatever, some grains, and then they will all eat, and they are standing right in front of her. And she talks to them, and they are just looking around and just says, "Why are you going there? You come here." So yesterday also I was watching. I took a couple of snaps. So like that, the mind is kind of like that. You have to coax the mind, and allow it to come down. And then the more you try, the more it seems to go away from you also. So yeah, so that those are all techniques, Mohini. Those are all Prasad. There are techniques, and so you can use any technique that works for you. And so yeah, I hope that helps. Good. So we will conclude now. We will meet again on Wednesday. Let's chant the Dhanvantri mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarva Maya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarva Maya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarva Maya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Be safe. Om.